Hey you guys, I wasn't really going to do a video on this Summerwells case, only because it seems like new stuff pops up every hour on the hour, so it's kind of like hard for me to keep a great, definite, uh, opinion on this when it's just constantly moving. Um, but I did want to bring up some points um, that I've noticed over the last month. Um, and now that I've watched the interview with McDuff, the boy, the 15-year-old that was supposed to be the one that was with them that day, people are questioning why he would want to hang out with a 5-year-old or his mother. That right there kind of, it didn't rub me the wrong way, but it's like, okay, what if you have a 5-year-old sister or a 5-year-old cousin, or just a family that you're very, very close to? What's wrong with you spending time with a 5-year-old? It doesn't seem to me like it was an everyday thing. It doesn't seem to me like he was going out of his way to spend time with her, like in a weird, you know what I'm saying? In a weird way or an uncomfortable way that would, you know, set off alarms as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I've hung out with plenty of my friends' children, uh, growing up, and never really was questioned on why I would hang out with a 5-year-old. I mean, when you have family friends and you guys get together and you guys are close, you just hang out together. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you become a, like, surrogate brother or sister or surrogate, aunt or uncle, or just somebody that in that part of their lives they needed, and vice versa. So I'm not really questioning too much about why he was with them. It seemed like the whole family was close, and what's the big deal? I don't really get it. It does seem to me like Candace is a bad influence. With her tobacco, vapes, and, getting alcohol in the middle of the day, but not drinking it and then giving it to a 15-year-old. I mean, irresponsible. I would say irresponsible. And I don't know if it's irresponsible because she just doesn't think, or, doesn't care, or just, for what purpose. I'm not quite sure. The whole timeline to me is completely a mess. I don't even know where up and down is when it comes to this timeline. It's like, okay, we had to take grandma to the hospital because of her knee, because the kids kept kicking her in her knee when they were on vacation or when they went somewhere or something to that extent. Which I'm not sure why your kids would keep kicking their grandmother in the knee. And you're allowing this to go on, and the grandmother's allowing this to go on, like that's normal. But then she has to be taken to the hospital. And what I don't understand is, okay, so did they wait in the car? Is that what they're saying, that they waited in the car for the grandmother? Also, if so, another big question. They said something about not being able to afford Wi-Fi, and if you can drive a 2021 Subaru, I think you'd be able to afford Wi-Fi. Maybe they just have habits that, take up more important roles in their life than Wi-Fi. So, but I wouldn't say they can't afford Wi-Fi, because I don't know how you could afford a brand new car note, okay? And, me being in the car business for years, and just, you wouldn't be able to afford a car note. Sorry. So that's bullshit. Then it makes me wonder why they kept saying how hot the car was, and the car was, it was really hot. So they decided to go to this swimming hole, which in my whole life, I've never heard of a swimming hole, okay? I've heard of a lake, I've heard of a pond, I've heard of an ocean, I've heard of a beach, a pool, a man-made lake, etc. But I've never, ever, ever heard of a swimming hole. And from what I've looked up, a swimming hole is usually where different animals go to drink water. It's a pretty much, opened freshwater area that animals could drink out of. From me looking at this water right now, I probably wouldn't even let my horse drink that water, let alone my kid swim in it. But that's, a whole nother story. I just feel like it's not an appropriate place for swimming, and I don't think it's an appropriate place for people to even just be in the water itself. It just looks disgusting. Excuse me. It just looks disgusting, but that's me. So now I'm confused again, because I try to write down everything so that I can keep track of just mess. And I'm assuming, because obviously 1 minute they're saying their grandmother was with them at this shithole they were swimming in, and then the next minute they're saying that they picked her up after the swim hole. And the car, the thing that stands out in my mind is that the car is so hot. It's so hot. Where is your brand new 2021 Subaru? I'm pretty sure that has excellent air conditioning. And if it doesn't, I would bring that back for service, because that's not appropriate. Okay. On a new car. Sorry. Why would you say you're in your car, but there is pictures proving that you were not in your car? That is not the inside of her car. That it's the inside of a truck, that you can see in the back that there are buckets and things, like it's a work truck. Like, okay, why lie about what car you're in? If your husband took your car and you took his car for whatever reason that day, that's fine. But why say you're in your fucking car and then I'm looking at the pictures and this is not the backseat of a 2021 Subaru? I could also see the flatbed of the truck through the window. In the picture of where Summer is laying on top of Milk, which is that's a whole nother subject, in itself. So, we've got 4 lies so far in 5 minutes of what these kids and their parents are doing, okay, and saying. I'm not going to put this 15-year-old in the middle of this and act like he's the one making shit up, and he's the one making confusing things and not saying things, because let's be real. At 15, do you really stand there and constantly look at the time? Do you constantly sit there and, worry about what time it is? Especially when you're on the autism spectrum. Do you really do that? Do you really expect this kid to worry about what time it is? I don't. And quite honestly, I think he was there to get out of the house. Maybe he was just not in the mood to sit in the house all day and decided, let me call them, see what they're doing. Normal stuff that you do with people who are friends or are close, like family. Let me call them, let me see what they're doing. I don't think that he has anything to do with her disappearance. I don't think he has anything to do with whatever happened after he was dropped off. And as we know from his mother, she was in the car when he was dropped back off home. So we're kind of at a crossroads of whatever happened to her, okay, physically, happened after this 15-year-old got out of the car. So that would leave the mother and the grandmother, I guess we're looking at now. We're looking at the mother and the grandmother, because I definitely do not feel like this kid is involved in any way, shape, or form with her disappearance. If something happened at the shithole, and it affected her later on, when he wasn't around, is 100% possible. Which means the mother and the grandmother would have been around. If the sons were working, if at work with their father, how when she got home, she was planting, and then she went and she wanted to play with her brothers, but her brothers weren't home. Her brothers were at work with their father, supposedly, and knowing that, obviously the father wasn't home, because she called the father before she called the cops. So, yeah. So was the father home with the kids when she called him? Were they in the same vicinity, or was he at work with the kids and she was home planting? Or did the kids not go to work with him and they were home? That's my question. So right there gives me, right there, just what? Wow. I can't even. I told them to watch their sister, and when I went back, she was gone. Okay. But if they went to work with your husband, how were they home for her to play with? I don't get it. Okay. I also don't get why you would call your husband before you call the authorities if your child is missing. Okay? And at this point, if you just looked in the house and looked outside for 2 seconds and didn't see her, you consider that her being missing. I mean, they didn't do an hour thorough search around the property before saying, okay, this kid is missing. She just automatically jumped to the conclusion that the child was abducted, and that she wasn't in the woods and she wasn't around the house and she was just gone. Okay. That's interesting in itself. What's also interesting is that, yes, the cops could have, interviewed the grandmother, and the cops could have interviewed the 3 sons, but, either they didn't, or we're not being shown the interviews or being told any of the information on the interviews of these people. Because if anything, I would think the grandmother would have more information than the 15-year-old kid, because she was in the car after the fact when the child was still in the back seat. So I would think she would be more of a candidate to talk to than anybody. But, that's just me. Then how is it that, I know kids fall asleep in the back seat and they kind of slump over, and stuff like that, but wouldn't you fix her? Wouldn't you, move the milk or, situate everything where she can, sleep comfortably instead of sleeping on 2 gallons of milk and a box? It just seems so, just messed up as far as I'm concerned as a parent. If I see my kid sleeping on the milk, I would definitely move my child and make them comfortable and make sure that they're not sleeping on milk. Then again, that's just me. And it's just the way she was dressed, long sleeves, pants, and supposedly it was so damn hot in the car, they were all dying because of the heat. Saying that it was actually a pretty cool day, considering their normal weather there. Why was she wearing all this clothing? Were they hiding something? Was there any kind of marks on her that if she didn't wear long sleeves and long pants that you would see something? Or do these people just throw on whatever the hell they find laying around, and if it works, it works, and then if it doesn't, it doesn't? I mean, I don't know. It's very strange. It's very strange. For you to tell me you were in your car, and then for you to tell me that you were sweating to death and the car was so hot. You have a brand new car, put the air conditioner on. What is your problem? So you got money to go to the store to buy alcohol and to buy tobacco and to buy vapes, and all this shit, but you don't have money for Wi-Fi. You don't have money to put gas in your car so that you can use your air conditioner. Just, it doesn't add up to me. It doesn't add up to me at all. Not at all. The father, I don't even know what to say about him. I really feel like the man is in another world. He has no idea, excuse me, what's happening. He knows his daughter's missing, but it just seems like he's clueless to the rest of it. Or he's playing like he's clueless to the rest of it. I can't get a grasp on him, because he just says the same shit over and over again, and there's no kind of emotion, no kind of concern, just nothing going on there. It's just like a blank sheet of paper. So my whole thing is that obviously the two most important people to me would be the mother and the grandmother, because they were the last people to see her alive. So it wasn't the 15-year-old, it was the mother and the grandmother. The 15-year-old left and the kid was still in the car. Whether she was sleeping or awake, he's not a doctor. He's not going to know if she's unconscious, or if she's dead, or if she's alive, or if she's sleeping, or he's not going to know any of these things. So we can't pin that, I'm sorry, on him knowing. Like, he should have known that kind of stuff. So the mother and the grandmother right now are number one suspects. Could the father have helped hide the body? Yeah. But I feel like the kids, the boys, were not around when this happened, because they just seem like they just have no idea, you know what I mean, about what's going on. Like, even the oldest one just seems like they know their sister's gone, but they don't know anything other than that. And I think that if they were there or they were around when anything happened to her, I think one of them would have slipped up by now. Kids can only hold things in for so long. So I feel like the kids were nowhere near whatever happened. Whether it be an accident, if you want to call not watching your child in the water an accident, I mean, you could look at it both ways. You're not expecting something to happen to them, but then again, they're 5 years old and you're their parent, so you're supposed to be on top of them, watching everything they do at every given moment, because that's what you do as a mother. So if something happened to her, yeah, of course, the mother's to blame as well. You can't just blame the water for an accident happening. And according to this kid, she got up and she was laughing. So, I mean, she could have gotten hurt, and it just, as they say, when you get a concussion or anything like that, you shouldn't go to sleep. They try to keep you awake. That's like the main thing they do, is try to keep your ass awake, because they don't want you to fall asleep. God forbid that you have a concussion and you can go into a coma, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, that is absolutely possible to have happened. And obviously that wouldn't have happened unless she fell asleep. So is that what happened? I don't know. I have no idea. The only thing I know, like, in feelings and my gut, is, like, I know that the mother and the grandmother know exactly where she's at and exactly what happened. I'm not sure what's going on with the husband. He could be a lot better with his poker face than she is, as far as interviews and stuff like that. And them acting united and acting like they're so peachy keen in their marriage and all this other kind of shit, when he was just called for domestic violence a couple of months ago. So, I mean, it just seems like everything is a complete and utter mess. And being that it's been a month, I don't think people are giving up, but I think people are like, there's other missing children out there, and we've spent a month looking for one of them. We probably lost God knows how many just looking for one. So do we continue to do this, or do we not continue to do this? And that's a really hard decision to make. Because every time you turn a corner, you think, okay, this is going to be it. I'm going to find her. and, we're going to know what happened, and then you turn that corner and there's nothing there. So it's a very hard decision. But at this point, they either need to bring in more experienced detectives, more experienced law enforcement, because apparently whatever they're dealing with there is not what they need at this point. We either have to figure this out and find her and move on, okay, to other missing children, or like, just that's enough. We're not looking anymore, and we're sorry, but we can't spend the rest of our lives looking for one person. So that's where, like, I'm at right now. I feel like they're taking so much time in this one case, and there's so many other missing children that are just not being looked for because everybody is searching for Summer. And then also the amount of children that have gone missing in that area. The fact that the grandmother's other daughter disappeared. Okay. I mean, what are the odds of two people in the same family disappearing? Okay. And never being found, and there's no information on anything that happened to them, or nobody knows anything. That's a little strange. Okay, for one person to go missing in your family is strange, but for two people, that's just fucking ridiculous. Okay, something's not right. Something ain't right. And they're both female people that are being abducted. It's not, none of the boys are being abducted. It's just the females being abducted. And then we have the father's eldest son, who supposedly was going out with somebody who was only 2 years younger than him, supposedly. But where he lives, that's against the law, so he went to jail for it. And, if that's not bullshit, I don't know what is. He's not even in the same state, so, like, why should they interview him? It doesn't matter what state he's in, okay? It's been a month. The kid could be in fucking Russia right now, as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't matter if somebody is in the state next to you or in the house next to you. Everybody needs to be interviewed. Everybody needs to be looked at as a suspect. But for what I'm getting, where I'm only getting interviews with the parents, okay, not even the kids' opinions on where their sister is, or when the last time they seen her was, or the grandmother, but this 15-year-old kid and his family are now being brought into this, when it's obvious that he had absolutely nothing to do with it, because she was in the car when he got out of it. So, I mean, come on. Why are we wasting time on this bullshit? What's going on? Okay? That's what I want to know. What's going on? I can't stand wasting time. I can't stand asking the same questions more than once. I can't stand people who lie. I can't stand people who would rather get high and drink and smoke cigarettes all damn day than have Wi-Fi, and, then want to sit around and talk about how intelligent they are, but yet you're driving a truck, obviously, with no AC, when you have a brand new Subaru that you could be in with an AC. So why didn't you have your own car that day? Where was your car at? Okay? Did they even ask where her car was at? Because you can tell by the pictures that she was not in her car. Okay? The entire interior is different, and you can see the bed of a truck behind Summer in that picture of her laying on the milk. So, maybe it's just me again. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on and on about this bullshit. Like, the weirdos from the church, the weirdo taking the sons out to play golf while their sister's missing because they're so upset and they're so distraught that he had to get them out of the house. It's funny to me, but when you're distraught, it doesn't really matter where you are or what you're doing. You're carrying that with you. So even if I was playing golf and trying to have a good time and you took a picture of me, you would see that in my face. Because in the back of my mind, I'd still be thinking about that. Regardless whether I was having fun or not. And in the pictures that I've seen, it looks like they're pretty, fine to me. They don't look disturbed. They don't look disoriented. They don't look upset. They don't look like they're thinking about anything or trying to figure anything out. It just seems like they're regular kids playing miniature golf. Okay? And that church guy rubbed me the wrong way with the flute. And, that's not my thing. Okay? Don't play flutes in front of me and talk about, we're praying and we're doing all this and we're doing all that. For all I know, your ass has her. So, I'm good. And like I said, there's so much shit in this case that makes no sense. No fucking sense at all. Not even a smidget of fucking sense. That, what do you do? What do you say? When you're on, you know what I'm saying? When you're looking at this and you're like, wait a minute, they weren't even in the same car. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what? Why lie about the car that you're in? That right there, I'm sorry, just pushed me over the edge, because you gotta be pretty fucking stupid to say you were in your car, okay? And then we got people comparing the backseat of your car to the car that she was in, and it looks nothing like each other. So, I mean, I don't know what you're trying to prove with that shit. You guys got plenty of fucking property. Put a pool in. Fucking pool for $50 from Walmart. Okay? And have your kids swim in that instead of that shithole that you guys call a place to be swimming in. Fucking just straight up disgusting. That's it. That's all I could say. I just... Some people are just not meant to be parents, and I'll say that over and over again. I don't care what anybody thinks, just some people are just not meant to have children, and I think these were two people who should not have had children. Okay? My opinion. Don't get upset with me. My opinion. I'm allowed my opinion. But these are two people that should not have procreated, especially together. Okay? One was enough procreation together, let alone 4. So, I'm going to leave that right there. But, I'm going to leave this video where it's at because, like I said, I can go on and on with this shit for like the next week. And it's not going to solve nothing because nothing makes sense and we don't have facts. We have a bunch of bullshit. So, with that being said, I'm going to end this video as part 1. And I'm going to continue to listen to all the stuff that's being said and watch all the stuff that's being broadcasted about this situation. And then I'll do another video in a couple of days, or, you know, whenever I think I have enough information. That's not the same information that I'm talking to you about now. I'll do another video on it. But like I said, I really wasn't going to do a video on this because everybody and their mother is, and I just feel like we're all just don't know what happened. We're just all confused and we are all in the same boat. So it's kind of like, you know, everybody's trying to figure out what happened and everybody's putting in their ideas and throwing shit back and forth and seeing, you know, like what they can figure out, you know, and it just comes down to the same thing. Where is this kid? How did this kid disappear? And where is she? And how long are they going to continue to search? Okay? I really don't know how long they're going to continue to search as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there has to be a limit to the funding of a missing person and the man hours to put in for all these people to be looking for a child, and there's got to be a limit to this. So either somebody's gonna have to come clean and say what really happened, or I guess this is just gonna go down in the history books as an unsolved mystery, and maybe they'll figure out it, you know, in 50 years or so. We'll know what happened. But at this point, it's just a bunch of bullshit. I don't know. You know, everybody's fucking lying. Everybody to me is fucking fishy. Everybody to me is suspect. Everybody to me is full of shit. And that's like where I'm gonna leave it. You know, I have to say it like it is. I don't trust any of them. I don't like the way they look. I don't like the way they talk. I don't like anything about them. You know what I mean? And that's not being ignorant and saying anything about the area they're from or the state they live in or anything. Because that has nothing to do with anything. You can be a person of substance and live in a hole. It has nothing to do with where you live. It has to do with you as a person. So I want to straighten that out right now. I don't want to hear no bullshit in the comments of how, I'm trying to say that people from Tennessee are stupid or, you know, this, that. No, I'm not trying to say anything like that. People choose to be who they are, okay? Everyone has the same opportunities, and being that they have less supposable money than everybody else, they have more opportunities than the people that do have money to get an education and to make something of themselves if they care to. Okay? But apparently some people just don't give a shit. That's the way they want to live. That's the life they want to live. So be it. But I'm sorry if the Tennessee taxpayers at this point might be a little, you know, that's enough, you know, like, this is my taxes that we're using to look for this kid. Either we figure out where she is, or we're going to have to put this on the back burner. And if something pops up, it pops up. That's it. That's where I'm at right now. So, post your comments, whatever you want, below, and any negative bullshit I'll be deleting. I'm not dealing with it. I have no time for it. And if you take offense to anything that I say, that's on you. I'm not going to apologize for how I feel or how I see things. This is who I am. So, you know, that's it. Like I said, I'll keep up with this if there's anything even remotely important to report on it. But I really don't see that happening. I just see a whole bunch of bullshit day after day, and it's just a waste of time. As far as she goes, I'm sorry, you know, that a 5-year-old little girl has to go through what she's been through. What if she's going through anything right now, or, you know, what she's had to go through in her life, in her short 5 years of her life. Nobody really knows. So we come back to who's the most important in this story would be the victim, would be Summerwells herself. And I hope that she's found alive, but giving the amount of time and giving the statistics of the situation, it's kind of hard to keep that positive outlook. But let's try our best and just say a little prayer for her, and wherever she is, may she be in peace. Talk to you guys.